Alright, let's start with our first lesson, Introduction to Digital Literacy. So today, I want to talk about something super important, digital literacy. Nowadays, it's as important as knowing how to read and write. In short, you really need to know what is digital literacy and how to be digitally literate. So ano nga ba talaga ang digital literacy, no? It's not just about marunong ka gumamit ng computer or phone. It's more than that. Digital literacy is about how to use technology to find information, to evaluate kung legit ba or fake news yung mga nababasa, and how to use it to communicate lalo na sa mga important stuffs. Digital literacy covers a lot of skills that helps us use technology in ways that really matter. First up, we have basic computer skills. Ito yung marunong kong gumamit ng computers and other devices for everyday tasks like typing, browsing, and any skill related sa computers. No? Yung simpleng pag-open mo ng computer, pag-shutdown, pag-print, at marami pang iba. Next up, we have information literacy. Ito yung kaya mong maghanap, mag-evaluate, at gumamit ng info na reliable. Hindi yung basta-basta lang. Ito yung dinadouble check mo yung mga binabasa mo, tinitingnan mo kung totoo, gumagawa ka ng mga paraan para malaman ba kung legit ba o hindi yung mga binabasa mo online at yung iba pang informasyon na natatanggap mo. Alright, next we have communication skills. Ito naman yung alam mo gumamit ng iba't ibang digital tools like pag-email, paggamit ng social media, and mga messaging apps for effective communication. Siyempre, hindi lang yung paggamit. Kasama din dyan yung tamang paggamit ng digital platforms na ito. Alright, last one, we have media literacy. Ito naman yung ability mo to understand, evaluate, and even create media in different forms. Ito yung alam mo gumawa ng mga video, mag-edit ng pictures, maggawa ng iba't ibang visuals like graphics and articles. No? Alright, next, let's discuss naman why digital literacy matters. Digital literacy is super important in different parts of life. Number one, we have academic success. So if you are a digitally literate person, you can utilize the technology we have right now para makahanap ng iba't ibang educational resources at research tools na pwede natin gamitin para mag-excel tayo sa pag-aaral. Next up, we have career advancement. Almost all jobs ngayon require some level of digital skills. Whether nasa office ka, nagtuturo, or working in a technical field, kailangan talaga marunong ka sa technology. Pag maalam ka sa current technologies ngayon, pwede mong gamitin yun para mag-work smart at hindi mag-work hard. The more we work smart, mas marami tayong time to do other things. If you have more time, marami tayong magagawa at marami tayong madadevelop na skill upang makatulong sa ating career advancement. Alright, last one, we have personal growth. So when it comes to digital literacy, what it does is it empowers everyone to stay informed, helps people make good decisions. Yan, di ba? Ngayon, gumagamit ka na ng internet para tanungin kung ano yung mga dapat gawin para mag-guide kayo sa mga bagay na gusto nyong gawin sa buhay. Tamang search na lang kayo. Yan, so gamit ng mga digital platforms, mas nagkakaroon tayo ng idea na mag-excel at mag-grow sa iba't ibang bagay na gusto nating gawin sa buhay, enabling personal growth. Alright, so that's it for our first topic, Introduction to Digital Literacy. Alright, again, what is digital literacy? Digital literacy involves the ability to effectively and critically navigate, evaluate, and create information using a range of digital technologies. Alright, to be digitally literate, you need to have basic computer skills, information literacy, communication skills, and media literacy. And being digitally literate has many benefits. Number one, academic success, career advancement, and personal growth. Alright, let's move on with our next topic, basic computer concepts. In this lesson, you will learn the fundamental components of a computer system and how they interact. So in order for us to understand what makes a computer, we have two concepts, hardware and software. Hardware are the physical parts of the computer like CPU, RAM, motherboard, PSU, and many more parts which are tangible or yung mga nahawakan natin na devices and peripherals sa loob ng system unit. At syempre, yung mga external devices, syempre, like printer, mouse, keyboard, and many more external devices. Alright, that's it for the hardware. Let's move on with the software concept naman. Software are the programs and the operating systems na nagpapatakbo ng computer like Windows, Mac OS, Android, Linux, at iba pang apps na naka-install sa ating computer. Now that you know the basic computer concepts, let's dive in naman kung ano yung mga hardware and softwares ng mga computers. Alright, let's start with understanding hardware first. First up, we have Central Processing Unit. Ang CPU ay ang brain ng computer. Siya ang nagpe-perform ng instructions na galing sa software. Kaya siya ang responsable sa lahat ng task na ginagawa ng computer. Imagine mo na siya ang manager ng buong system, making sure na lahat ng parts will work together efficiently. Matatagpuan ng CPU sa lahat ng types ng devices like desktops, laptops, tablets, at smartphones. Hindi lang sa big computers, kundi pati sa mga handheld devices. Every time na nag-open ka ng app, nagpa-process siya ng instructions para magawa yun ng device. Next, we have memory or RAM. RAM or Random Access Memory ay temporary storage na nag-hold ng data at instructions sa ginagamit ng CPU right now. It's like a workspace or a scratchpad where the computer keeps things it needs to access quickly. Kapag maraming programs ang naka-open sa computer or maraming task ang ginagawa ng computer, ginagamit ng computer ang RAM para magamit natin ng sabay-sabay yung mga programs at mga tasks na ginagawa natin. So nakakapag-multitasking tayo without slowing down the computer. Makikita ang RAM sa lahat ng devices, desktops, laptops, tablets, at smartphones. Every time na nagmumultitask ka, like pag nag-open ka ng browser, Microsoft Word, or music player ng sabay-sabay, ang RAM ang responsable sa pag-handle ng data ng bawat program na yon para hindi mag-lag ang system. Meron tayong dalawang klase ng RAM. Una, meron tayong DRAM or Dynamic RAM. Ito ang pinakakaraniwang type ng RAM na ginagamit sa PCs at mga laptops. Pangalawang klase naman ay ang SRAM or Static RAM. Mas mabilis pero mas mahal. So in short, mas mataas ang RAM, mas efficient ang multitasking at mas mabilis ang response time ng system. Pagdating naman sa upgradability, madalas upgradable ang RAM ng mga desktop computers. Kaya pwede mo siyang dagdagan for better performance. Sa laptops at smartphones, limited minsan ang options. Kaya importanteng piliin ang tamang amount of RAM kapag bibili ng bagong device. Next up, we have the motherboard. Ang motherboard ay ang main circuit board ng computer. Ito ang nagko-connect sa lahat ng components tulad ng CPU, RAM, storage, and other peripherals. Ito yung mga keyboard, mouse, or printer. Think of it as a central hub na nagpapahintulot sa lahat ng parts ng computer to communicate and work together. Ayun, so kung wala si motherboard, hindi mag-ooperate ang computer kasi wala pong mapaglalagyan ang CPU, RAMs, at iba't iba pang mga devices or peripherals na ikakabit natin sa computer. So kung walang motherboard, wala pong mapagkakabitan itong mga devices and peripherals na to. So hindi po talaga gaganang yung computer kung wala po ang motherboard. The motherboard has many components. Number 1, the CPU socket. Dito ini-install ang CPU, kaya super important ang compatibility ng CPU at motherboard. Next component ay RAM slots. Dito naman inilalagay or ini-install yung mga memory modules or yung mga RAM natin, mga SDRAM or DRAM. Alright, next component we have the expansion slots. So dito naman inilalagay yung mga graphics card, mga sound card, or yung mga network card ng computer natin. Ayan, so kung gusto nyo mag-upgrade, magpalit kayo ng graphics card, yan, dito lang kayo pupunta sa expansion slots. Next component, we have the storage connectors. Dito kino-connect ang storage devices like hard drives or SSDs via SATA or NVMe ports. Alright, for the last motherboard component, we have the power connectors. So this is responsible for distributing power mula sa PSU papunta sa lahat ng components sa computer mo. Pagdating naman sa upgradability sa desktops, ang motherboard ay often upgradable or replaceable. Kaya pwede kang mag-install ng mas powerful components. Pero pagdating sa mga laptops, mas limited ang options for upgrades since yung motherboard ay usually naka-fix. So, pwede mo lang magawa ay to replace the same motherboard. Hindi ka makakapag-upgrade at all. Next up, we have the power supply unit. Ang power supply unit or PSU ang nagpo-provide ng power sa lahat ng components ng computer. Ang power supply unit ang nagko-convert ng electricity mula sa wall outlet into usable power for the CPU, motherboard, storage devices, and other peripherals. So, para siya yung heart ng system, pumping power to all parts para mag-function ang computer ng maayos. In short, siya yung nagsusupply ng power sa computer mo. We have different types of power supply units. First, we have the modular PSU. Meron siyang mga removable cables para mas organize ang setup at less cable clutter. Sunod na klase naman ay yung non-modular PSU. Dito naman fix yung mga cable niya, less customizable pero more affordable naman. Mas mura siya, no? Last type of PSU is yung semi-modular PSU. Ito naman yung combination ng modular and non-modular. Dito, some cables are fixed and some are detachable. So make sure lang talaga siya nung modular at yung non-modular. Pagdating naman sa upgradability and efficiency, sa desktop PCs, pwedeng palitan or i-upgrade ang PSU. Mas mataas ang wattage, mas maraming components ang kayang i-power nito. Importante din yung 80+ certification ng PSU, which indicates how efficiently it converts power, kaya mas less ang waste at lower ang energy bills. Or mas mababa yung konsumo ng kuryente, mas mamura yung babayaran ninyo sa electricity provider ninyo. Next up, we have the display screen. Ang display screen ang nagpapakita ng visual output from the computer. This is where you'll see everything, whether it's a desktop interface, videos, images, or games. It converts the digital signals from the computer into visuals na kaya nating interpret as graphics, text, or any visual content. Parang ito ang face ng computer, giving you direct interaction with what's happening inside the system. Maraming klase ng display screen. For desktops, meron tayong monitor. Usually, yung mga monitor ay ginagamit as external devices. Ito ay nakakonect via ports like HDMI, DisplayPort, or VGA. So, kailangan siya ng cable. We have different types of display screens. Number 1, we have the LCD, or liquid crystal display, commonly used in monitors, laptops, and tablets. They are energy efficient and offer good color reproduction. Next, we have the LED, or light emitting diode. This is a type of LCD with better brightness and contrast, usually used in modern monitors and TVs. So, in short, ito yung latest version ng LCD. In-upgrade lang siya. Luma na po yung LCD. Next, we have the OLED, or organic LED. So, usually makikita nyo ito sa mga premium devices like smartphones, tablets, and high-end TVs, or yung mga smart TV ngayon. So, sa OLED, or organic LED, compared to LCD and LED, this provides deeper blacks, higher contrast ratios, and better color accuracy. So, mas malinaw siya, mas matingkad yung kulay. Mas nakita natin yung detalye ng mga kulay sa screen. Alright, for the last type of display screen, we have the touch screen. So, this screen allows the user to interact with the content through touch. So, madalas makikita natin to sa mga smartphones, tablets, mga laptops, mga touchscreen kiosks, or mga monitors with touchscreen functionality. For monitors, we have the resolution and refresh rate. Resolution determines the clarity of the screen. Example, yung 1080p or yung 4K resolution. No? So, the higher the resolution, the sharper the images. Sa refresh rate naman, so this affects how smooth motion appears on the screen. For gaming or video editing, a refresh rate of 120Hz or more is ideal for a fluid experience. So, the more na maraming hertz or the more na mas mataas yung refresh rate, mas smooth yung makikita nating visuals sa monitor natin. So, kung more on editing kayo or more on gaming kayo, mag-invest kayo sa mataas na refresh rate ng monitor para mas maganda yung experience ninyo sa mga visuals. Hindi siya laggy, no? Smooth siya palagi. Liquid yung kanyang animation at hindi siya malag. Next up, we have the storage. So, storage devices permanently stores data. Ito yung area kung saan nakastore ang lahat ng important files mo, starting from your operating system to personal documents, photos, and applications. So, when it comes to storage devices, we have different types. Number 1, hard disk drive or HDD. HDD is a traditional storage device that uses spinning disks to read and write data, usually larger in capacity, example 1 terabyte or more. But this is lower compared to newer technologies like the solid-state drive. Solid-state drive or SSD is a modern storage device that uses flash memory, making it much faster than HDD. It's more durable and energy efficient because it has no moving parts. So unlike HDD or hard disk drive that uses spinning disks or moving parts, SSD ay mas mabilis sa pag-read and pag-write ng data. Kaya pagdating sa price niya, mas mahal ang SSD kaysa sa HDD. Last type, we have the flash storage. So usually nakikita natin ito sa mga smartphones, tablets, and mga USB drives. Like SSDs, it uses flash memory but often more compact and integrated into devices. So usually naka-fix to or nakalagay na talaga dun sa device, hindi siya natatanggal. So makikita ang mga storage devices sa mga desktops, laptops, tablets, and smartphones. Pagdating naman sa upgradability sa desktop computers, madalas na may option to upgrade storage by adding more HDDs or SSDs. Sa laptops, limited ang options pero possible pa rin na mag-upgrade sa mas mataas na capacity na SSD. Sa smartphones at tablets, hindi po pwedeng palitan ang internal storage kaya importante na piliin yung tamang capacity based on your needs. Next up, we have the input devices. Ang input devices ang nagbibigay sa users ng way para makapag-interact sa computer. This input devices allows the user to send instructions, commands, and data into the computer, transforming physical actions like typing and clicking into digital information that the computer can process. So without input devices, walang way ang mga users para makapag-interact sa computer. So hindi magagamit ng users ang computer kung walang input devices. Dahil ang mga input devices ang way para makapag-send ng mga instructions at commands sa computer natin. Ano ba yung mga iba't ibang klase ng input devices? First up, we have the keyboard. Keyboards are used for typing and entering text-based commands, available as peripherals for desktops and built-in for laptops. Smartphones and tablets use virtual keyboards on the touchscreen. So in short, keyboards are a way for us to type or enter text-based commands. Mga shortcut key or pag-add lang ng mga simple na text. Yan. Ito yung gagamitin natin para makapag-enter tayo ng mga instructions or commands na text-based. Next, we have the pointing devices. Examples are mouse or mga trackpad. Pointing devices are used for navigation, selecting objects, and executing commands. So whether gagamit ka ng mouse or mga trackpads or touchscreen, itong mga pointing devices na to yung ginagamit natin para makapag-select tayo ng mga choices sa screen or yung mga buttons to select. Next up, we have the microphone. So ito naman yung ginagamit natin para makapag-input tayo ng data sa computer, such as voice commands, voice typing, or recording ng mga boses, or mga tunog na gusto nating i-record. Last one, we have the camera or webcam. So these are input devices that input visuals into the computer. So this is often used for video conferencing, taking photos, or scanning documents. So in short, it provides any visual input to the computer, like pictures and videos. Input devices are essential in translating human actions into a format that the computer can understand. For example, every time you type on a keyboard, click a mouse, or swipe a touchscreen, you're providing the computer with instructions on what to do next. These devices create a bridge between you and the machine. So, tinutulungan tayo ng mga input devices to interact with the computer. Ito yung way para magamit natin si computer. Without input devices, hindi natin magagamit ang computer na maayos. Alright, for our last computer hardware, we have output devices. Ang output devices ang responsable sa paglabas ng information from the computer, allowing you to see, hear, or physically interact with the results of your computer's processes. Essentially, these devices convert the digital data processed by the computer into a form that humans can perceive, whether it's visuals, sounds, or printed materials. We have different types of output devices. First up, we have a display screen or a monitor. So this outputs visual information such as texts, images, videos, or mga GUI or graphical user interface sa mga apps or sa mga operating system ng computers para makapag-interact tayo sa mga computers natin visually. Next output device, we have speakers. So speakers convert digital audio signals into sound. So ito yung output device para makapag-produce ng sound. Tulad ng mga tunog sa mga music videos, mga music, mga sound effects, mga background music, at iba't iba pang klase ng tunog na pwede nating marinig while using a computer. Alright, next we have printers. So printers outputs data in a physical form or in a form that humans can touch. Again, nilalagay lang ni printer ang data sa mga bagay na pwede nating mahawakan like bond paper, plastic, or mga PVC. Marami tayong klase ng printer. We have inkjet printers, laser printers, or mga 3D printers. Alright, that's it for the hardware part of the computer. Dito naman tayo ngayon sa software part. Ano nga ba ang software? Software is what allows a computer to perform tasks. In short, software lets you do stuff on your computer. It's divided into two main categories, system software and application software. Ano nga ba ang system software? Ito yung type of software na nagko-control at nagmamanage ng hardware ng computer. It works as a middleman between the user and the hardware, making sure everything runs smoothly and efficiently. Ano naman ang application software? Ito naman yung programs na may specific tasks like word processors, web browsers, or graphic design tools. In short, ito yung mga applications na ginagamit natin for everyday tasks. In short, system software ay yung nagmamanage ng hardware at nagpapatakbo ng ibang software na naka-install sa computer mo. While application software naman ay mga application designed for end users to perform specific tasks. Example, word processing, web browsing, or simpleng pag-edit ng mga pictures or mga video. Alright, discuss naman natin yung mga example ng system software. Unang example ng system software ay operating systems. Ang operating system ang pinaka-importanting software sa computer mo. Ang operating system or OS ang nagmamanage ng memory, processes, at lahat ng software at hardware sa isang computer. Here are some common operating systems. First up, we have Windows, known for its user-friendly interface at compatibility sa maraming software. Next, we have Mac OS. Ito naman ay gawa ng Apple. Kilala ito sa sleek design at powerful multimedia features. Ideal siya sa mga creative tasks. Nga lang, pagdating sa price, mahal po ang Mac OS. Pagdating sa local industry, Windows ang ginagamit nila sa kanilang mga computers, hindi Mac OS dahil mahal siya. Last one, we have Linux. So this is an open source operating system. So it's popular sa mga developers at mga servers. Flexible at customizable pero medyo technical. Medyo mahirap siya gamitin. No? Next example ng system software ay device drivers. Device drivers are like special programs na nagpapahintulot sa operating system na makipag-communicate sa mga hardware devices. Itong mga device drivers na to na nakikita nyo, sila yung magiging tulay between your operating system and hardware para yung mga printer na kinakabit natin, mga graphics card, mga keyboard, mga headset, mga storage devices, mga Bluetooth devices, wireless mouse, wireless keyboard ay mabasa at magamit ni computer. Again, sila yung bridge na nagko-connect sa OS at sa hardware. Without them, hindi magiging compatible at functional ang mga devices like printers, graphics card, and keyboards. Sila yung nagtatranslate ng commands para mag-work na maayos ang mga hardware mo. For example, kapag nag-i-install ka ng printer, kailangan mo ng printer driver para makapag-print ka ng documents. Kapag nag-update ka ng graphics card naman, kailangan mo rin ng bagong driver para ma-maximize ang performance ng iyong graphics card. Alright, kaya huwag kalimutan na i-check at i-update ang mga device drivers mo para siguradong smooth ang performance ng mga devices mo. So kung bumili ka ng computer accessory, ng keyboard, ng mouse, or printer, tas hindi siya gumagana, possible baka kailangan mo lang mag-install ng device driver for it to work. Alright, next example ng system software ay mga utility software naman. Utility software provides maintenance and optimization tools. Utility software is essential for keeping your computer in top shape. Sila ang tumutulong para siguradong maayos ang performance ng computer mo at ma-prevent ang mga potential issues like viruses and loss of data. Ang main function ng utility software ay ang pagtulong sa pag-maintain ng inyong computer sa pamamagitan ng pag-alaga ng system health, pagprotekta sa data, at pag-optimize ng performance ng computer mo. Here are some examples. First up, we have antivirus software. Ito ang nagbibigay protection sa computer mo laban sa mga viruses and malware. Kapag walang antivirus ang computer mo, prone ito sa mga threats na pwedeng makasira ng files or mag-cause ng security breaches. Maganda na mag-install ka ng mga antivirus software like Norton, McAfee, Bitdefender, or just simply use the Windows Defender. Next example, we have backup softwares. Backup software ang nagsisave ng mga important files mo. In case na mawalan ka ng data or masira ang files, may kopya ka na pwede mong ibalik or pwede mong mabalik. Sample backup softwares are Acronis True Image at Time Machine for Mac OS. Last utility tool, we have disk cleanup tools. Ito ang nag-aalis ng junk files at naglilinis ng storage mo para maging mas mabilis ang computer mo. Kapag sobrang dami na ng files ng computer mo, ito yung magiging cause ng performance issues. Mabagal yung computer mo at hindi mo na siya magagamit ng mabilis katulad ng dati. Kaya maganda na gumamit tayo ng disk cleanup tools para maiwasan yung mga gantong issues sa computer. Pwede tayo mag-install ng CC Cleaner or just simply use the disk cleanup. Ang proper use ng utility software ay makakatulong sa pagpapahaba ng buhay ng computer mo. Kaya siguraduhin gumamit ng mga tools na ito para sa optimal na performance ng inyong system. Ang firmware ay isang low-level software na naka-embed directly sa hardware ng devices. Unlike regular software, hindi mo ito basta-basta ma-update or mababago without special tools. Firmware controls functions ng device, ensuring na mag-work sila as intended. Kung walang firmware, hindi magpa-perform ng tama ang hardware, kaya crucial ito para sa seamless operation ng mga devices. Here are some examples: BIOS and UEFI firmware. BIOS ang ginagamit ng mga older PCs, habang ang UEFI naman ang modern version ng BIOS or updated version naman ng BIOS. UEFI na ang gamit ng mga modern PCs ngayon. So, ano bang purpose ng firmware na to? This firmware is responsible sa pag-control ng mga basic hardware functions like pag-power up ng computer at pag-check ng connected devices bago mag-load ang buong operating system ng isang computer. So kung hindi niya maload lahat ng devices na nakakonect sa computer mo, may stuck lang sa BIOS screen yung inyong computer at hindi mo siya magagamit at all. Kaya minsan mapapansin natin yung mga computers na stuck up siya sa gantong screen. Possible merong device na maluwag yung pagkakakabit, natanggal or nasira, kaya hindi mag-start ang computer. Isang klase naman ng firmware ay yung mga embedded systems na firmware. Ito yung mga firmware na matatagpuan sa mga devices tulad ng routers, printers, at iba pang embedded devices. So these embedded systems allows the user to use the specific functions of these devices and to also modify its functions to work with the user's preference. Example na lang ay ang firmware ng isang router. So the firmware of the router allows the user to manage the internet connection, add hidden networks, block users based on their MAC address or IP address, and many more modifications to the router. Kaya mahalaga ang firmware sa bawat device. Sila ang behind-the-scenes software na tumutulong sa smooth operation ng hardware. So keep them updated kapag may bagong versions to ensure na laging nasa best performance ang devices mo. Alright, that's it for the system software examples. Let's now move on with application softwares. First up, we have productivity software. These softwares helps users to create, edit, and manage documents, like word processing using Microsoft Word or Google Docs. Next, spreadsheets using Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets, and presentation softwares using Microsoft PowerPoint and Google Slides. Next, we have web browsers. Web browsers allows the users to access and interact with the contents on the web. Ang web browsers ang nagre-render ng websites, naglo-load ng mga web apps, at nagbibigay ng interface para mag-browse ka online. Kahit anong activity sa web, whether nag-check ka ng emails, nanonood ng videos, or nag-share ng info, ito yung application na kailangan mong gamitin para makapag-interact ka with the content sa internet. Here are some popular examples. First up, we have Google Chrome. Fast, reliable, at madalas ginagamit worldwide. Sikat dahil sa speed at dami ng extensions na pwede mong install para sa added functionality like ad blockers or productivity tools. Next, we have Mozilla Firefox, known for its strong privacy features at customizable options. Kung concern mo ang security and privacy, magandang choice ang Firefox. Plus, it's open source kaya maraming features na pwedeng i-tweak to suit your needs. Next, Safari. Itong browser na to ay gawa ng Apple, designed for optimal performance sa kanilang devices tulad ng iPhones, iPods, at Macs. Very smooth and energy efficient kaya perfect for Apple users na gusto ng seamless experience. Next one, we have Microsoft Edge. Newer and improved version ng old Internet Explorer. Mas mabilis, mas maganda ang performance at well integrated with Windows, kaya recommended siya para sa mga Windows users na gusto ng modern browsing experience. Whether you're looking for speed, privacy, or compatibility, ang pagpili ng right web browser can really enhance your browsing experience. Make sure to choose one that fits your needs. Next up, we have media players. So media players simply plays audio and video files. Here we have VLC Media Player. Ito ay super versatile at kaya nitong i-play almost lahat ng any type of media file. Windows Media Player naman, ito ang basic media player na built-in sa Windows. Good for standard media files naman ito. Last one, we have iTunes. Ito naman yung main software for managing and playing music sa mga Apple devices.